May meeting.
They look good, so Pageler, a motion to accept.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have a second?
Second motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Public comment. I see that we have one attendee. Attendee, if you would like to be recognized by the chair, please raise your hand. Seeing that she does not, we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Anything from that Bill left for us?
Yeah, the beginning balance is, it looks like it's the same, 28,037.50 cents. Expenditures of 824.33 cents. For an ending balance of 27,313.17.
Great, thanks. Alan, are we at the point where we owe you guys for the enclosure for the boat?
I believe that has been taken care of. The bill took care of that.
Okay, great. We can just check in with
Quite
them.
sure that that's.
Thanks, Alan. No secretary's report. We'll move right into the committee reports. Again, back to the Department of Health.
Okay. Rainfall for May 2023 is 2.97 inches. Same time last year, 3.39 inches. And historical is 4.44 inches. There was one bypass on May 20th for 2 hours in duration, and one closure on May 20th due to rainfall.
Thank you. I was pinged about 2 weeks ago, 3 times in a row from the rain gauge, saying that we had something like 4.6 inches of rain when it was like a bellwether day. Any idea what was going on there?
I do not. Do you know the dates? I can defer.
Yeah, I'll they're in my phone, but I'll report it back to Bill later.
Okay.
Evidently it's been fixed. So I just haven't seen, and I don't know if we've had rain to trigger it again for the half inch since that happened. So maybe we'll get a half inch on Saturday, though I hope not.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works.
All right.
Thank you. Wastewater treatment plant, there are no attendees. The Mayor's Water Quality Committee, Chairman Schnierlein, sir.
We just had our meeting, and of major points of discussion were PFAS and PFOS. What transpired is from digging up the test, Dick Harris and Louise Washer were able to help put a squash on getting the AstroTurf turf set up in Wilton. And there were 2 reasons. Number one, they made the public aware of the PFAS issue, but also number 2 was the fact that they were going to increase their mill rate, I think by 6 mills, if I remember correctly. And also they were able to, they were going to take $1 million+ from their budget. And the parents up there said, no, you're not going to do that. Not for a turf field. It doesn't make sense. And then we have a red tide right now in Norwalk area. Several people had complained to Bill that they saw the red stuff in the water. It is an algae. It is a dinoflagellate. It is slightly toxic, but not enough to worry us at this point. I was out today and I saw no dead fish. And if it was a severely toxic one, the bunker would be the first to show symptoms of it, and they were not showing any symptoms. And indeed, there were live schools in the Norwalk Harbor and 5 Mile River, so we're in good shape there. And that's about it.
Thank you very much, sir. Any news on permits, Kyle, from anything Bill left for this month?
Nothing he left, no.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Yep.
Police, Justin sent me a brief report. He couldn't attend tonight, but just indicated that there were no incidents since our last meeting, and that the ordinary summer enforcement season on shellfishing has begun. Advisory, we talked about the water temperature. Chairman Schnierlein, I think he said 65 Fahrenheit. And last committee report, the Norwalk Harbor Management Commission, Chairman Kibbe and Mr. Stedman, please.
You want to go?
Please.
Alan, this is Jeff. Go ahead, of course.
Oh, you can go ahead. You usually have more to say than I do.
Well, the principal matter before the Harbor Commission now is the review of the proposed Eversource transmission lines relocation project, which of course is something that we've been, and along with the Shellfish Commission, have been interested in for, gosh, it must be almost 8 years now when we first started talking about the project in 2015. As you know, the Harbor Commission and the Shellfish Commission requested that the Siting Council, the Connecticut Siting Council, hold a public hearing on the project prior to any action to approve it. The Siting Council, did not agree to hold a public hearing and approved the route on May 26th. So I guess that was last Friday. And now Eversource must obtain its necessary permits from the DEP and from the Corps of Engineers. And they're coming back before the Harbor Commission and the Shellfish Commission with the pre-application consultation, in the pre-application consultation process. So you of course, you have your pre-application form that you must fill out before an application can be filed. Same with the Harbor Commission. The Harbor Commission discussed this with the representatives of Eversource Commission's May meeting and tabled any discussion tabled a decision on this pending receipt of a third-party review of the proposal. And that, as we did when we first saw this proposal some years ago. The concerns, maybe I'm not speaking just for the Harbor Commission, or for the Harbor Commission, but I'll speak for myself, is the concerns we've been discussing for a number of years is the potential impact of the relocation of the electric cables underneath the visitors dock and the city's the boating center. Eversource and the Siting Council don't seem to think that that's an issue because of the depth of that the cables will be buried. However, as I pointed out at the commission meeting early on in this process when we talked about this, and not so early on, I get the meeting date and I can provide the minutes. But a representative of Eversource told us that the city will not be precluded from work over the cables, future work to maintain or repair or replace the docks, but there will be limitations and it will be subject to Eversource's approval. So the concern that we have about that is that, we can't predict the future or what will happen. But, we've talked in the past about a condition in the deep permit that would protect the city to an extent. That if there are additional costs or things that can't be done in the future because of the location of those cables, that Eversource will have a responsibility to provide compensation of an appropriate source and pay the difference. We're trying to work out exactly that language. But to me, that's the principal issue that we're facing with. The other matters having to do with the drilling and where the equipment is and the effect on the river. Those I believe can all be handled through best management practices and best engineering practices. But what's unknown is in the future and the effect on the city boating facilities. But we'll, as we said, and I'll stop in just a few minutes or just a few seconds. As we said to Eversource, we're not trying to be obstructionists or hold up the project. We're just trying to protect the public interest in the boating facility. And the reason that the commission has this interest in part, and I think Eversource should understand this, is that the idea for the visitors dock in the beginning, a number of years ago, was the commission's idea. And then the commission pursued the permits needed to build it in the first place, and it was agreed that Parks and Rec would manage the facility. The commission would have an advisory role in it. And there's been a number of matters that the commission has been involved with having to do with that facility over the years, to correct problems with its use, to change the permit to allow commercial use. And then more recently, the Harbor Commission was responsible for the grant, obtaining the grant to redo the visitors dock, which was almost $1 million. We prepared the grant application. And then prior to that, we received another grant for dredging in the area of the visitors dock, and that was over $300,000. So well over $1 million has been put into that facility as a result of the commission's initiative. And so it's understandable that the Harbor Commission would have an interest in the future impact of this project on the facility. That's my long-winded presentation, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I'll just add to that, as we speak, the Common Council should be voting on accepting the Port Authority grant we have for the street end project, which is about harbor practice. That's before the council tonight at their meeting, and that's a grant to study the access to the harbor via a lot of the street ends, particularly in East Norwalk. There's a lot of possibilities there for ways to get out of the harbor, get into the water there. So that's what that's for. And we have we're getting our transient moorings up and operational in the harbor. We have two in the vicinity of the splitting the channel into the East Basin at the South Anchorage. And we've also talked to the Seaport Association about some more Dockwah managed moorings in the vicinity of on the north side of Sheffield Island, and some other locations. So it's very exciting as a way to get people into Norwalk by water and show off what a great town we are. That's it for me.
Thanks so much, Alan, and thanks, Jeff. So I'd like a
Steve,
motion.
I'm on now. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Pete. Let the record show that Commissioner Johnson joined at 29 after the hour. And a motion to accept the committee reports as presented, please.
Motion to accept it.
Second.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Pete. And all in favor?
Aye.
Under old business, Tim DiBartolomeo last month presented 18 Burwell, and we approved that application pending a revision that would have spoken to the peat or bog cutouts on the footprints of the proposed piles, and just changing the documentation that the Phragmites removal would not happen. I can report that we have not received that document in its revised form. Chairman Dr. Pinto asked what our consultation is to the Application Review Committee, and I mentioned those 2 points to him. Again, that we stipulated that the bog would be transplanted in the footprint of the new piles, and that some documentation of the non-removal of Phragmites would be submitted to the state. Similarly with 12 Shorehaven, we did hear from Mr. Hiltz, and that one is off the table. That one is finished. Anything else under old business, anyone? No. New business, Eversource, they're not here tonight. Really thought that they would be. They were duly noticed by Mr. Mooney, and that's a matter of record. So I think it's okay for us to discuss what Jeff and Alan presented tonight in terms of the Harbor Commission's actions. So I'd like to open the floor to that. by saying, in terms of my personal opinion, I think that was exactly the right thing to do, and to table any action until a third party's expert review could be completed. So I'd like to thank the commission, Harbor Commission, for doing that. And I just wanted to open that up for discussion here as well.
I think we should do the same, Pete Johnson. I think we should table it and wait till we have another person, look at what's happening.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I make a motion.
I second the motion.
Okay, any further discussion? Commissioner Sachs, I saw your hand up.
Just second the motion.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The chairman's opinion, that's unanimous. And we'll hope to see them next month. Anything else under new business? Kyle, anything on your plate that you've seen?
No, not that, meeting, no, sir.
Okay, great. So thanks, Kyle, for filling in tonight. Thanks, Danielle, as well. And I'll take a motion to adjourn, and we'll see everybody in the July meeting, if not before.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Nick.
A
Second?
second. Boy, I'm glad I made it.
Yeah. Second is by Commissioner Sachs, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.